Thank you so much for being here. And again, I think the session that we're going to proceed with and the panelists that we have here, it's going to be a very interesting one. I think a lot has been said around the world of AI and automation and what that means for the world of marketing at large. Uh, we have a great set of panelists who have agreed to give their time and spend 40 minutes with us in conversation on this topic. But I thought to set the context for the conversation today, I'll request each of the panelists to go one by one and sort of contextualize the conversation in, like when they think about their day-to-day lives, when they think about the big picture vision of their organization and the day-to-day action items and actually actualizing that vision. How do they compartmentalize where all AI can be used in their daily lives? Like, what are the different frameworks that they think of, or what are the different compartments that they think in the journey? This is where AI is applicable. And maybe, Ajay, if you want to start off, and then we can go from left to right.
Sorry. Like I promised, I was more a listener on the panel, so that's, yeah. Okay. And I'd possibly give out my ignorance. I don't know enough about AI, so I was hoping to listen and possibly repeat some stuff to sound knowledgeable at the end of the panel. But more importantly, I think from my side, I think while E4M has gathered agency panel and marketers on the board, I think we ought to look at more business issues that we have to solve, right? Uh, and thereby, I think, sort out as to what are the solves that we are putting out for any new technology. So when the Gutenberg press was kind of invented, the first piece that they printed was the Bible, right? The newest novel on the board, right? It's been on, but that was the first piece. It took a very long time for that technology to find that you could suddenly have books, you could have libraries, you could have dialogues across generations of, of authors and real people. I think that solve, it takes a little bit of time for matching the technology to the solve. From our perspective, I think we have a very large consumer base, right, across the country. We kind of nearly, as I was telling you, about 50,000 crores of our business is B2C, which is going to absolutely base level. While we sell cement, there are other things that we aid people who are our consumers in the journey in terms of building their home. Our job is not just providing a material. Our job is helping them secure the biggest project of their life, right? It's a risky project. It's a materials and information intensive journey and decisions which can be very risky and very expensive. Can AI put together something which will solve their problems? And that would be my urging in terms of, in this quest to help my consumers build a better home, a error-free home, can I contribute something to it? That increases my top line, that increases my engagement with our customers. Can AI figure out some solve there? Today, we had figured out that we had a very large a large technical team, nearly about 1,600 engineers when I'd taken over, I think about 6 odd years back. With that physical expertise, we were touching about 2 to 3% of all the potential market per se in terms of helping them. We use social media. We today are touching nearly 400, 500 million views in the last 3 years and touching these consumers. Can this job be done more efficiently? Can this job be done more, if you may, in a more effective, more customized, more personalized fashion? Maybe, maybe not. So I'm wanting to hear from you, friends, as to can this job be done better?
You want me to go next?
Please.
Okay. Sure. So, I mean, as we all know that we live in the space of AI, right? And it touches our lives everywhere. But closer to what we do at Group M and WPP, I mean, it's advertising, right? And if I have to kind of really look at, has AI disrupted our business as advertising? The answer is truly yes, right? And when we look at what we do, what is our core? In one side of the arm, we actually go ahead and create the right creative, okay, the right messaging. On the other side, what we do is we actually go ahead and ensure that the right audience is seeing it, right? And then the connection point between it, the science behind it, which is powered by data and technology. So I see all these three areas are like massively, massively disrupted in the whole by AI. And it's the disruption also comes in the form of opportunity as well, right? I mean, it's not only negative, right? It's positive, more of positive and less of negatives, right? And when I talk about creating the right message, I mean, you guys have, I mean, we've talked enough about the My Cadbury ad, and now the sequel to that, which is like my birthday song, etc., and all that, right? And there are so many other examples in which we have actually ensured that usage of AI helps to create the right message, the most relevant message in this whole digital economy where people are expecting personalization, right? I think those are some of the tick boxes which we have done. I'm sure like some of the lesser known ones is the one which we did with Sachin Tendulkar, where we kind of de-aged him to the back of like when he was 11 years or 12 years, modulated his voice. And when he's talking in that sense, okay, it resonates with an insurance client as to like, you know, how the future of anxiety can go away when you have the right future plan. So the brand proposition, how you bring into the play. Talking about when we reach out the users or when we target the consumers for our brands, okay, I mean, that's purely kind of ensuring that you're using activation, okay, to look at data points, and AI is a must out there because today the complexity has increased, the permutations and combinations are immense, and unless if you're not using AI, you're losing out, right? So just to give you some parlance on that is today, like the usage of AI on reaching out on our video ads, okay, is to the tune of like 45%, okay? So every out of 100 impressions, 45% is managed out of that. And some is managed by like partners or some managed by our local in-house proprietary products and solutions. And there is a lot that's happening between the science and technology part of it, right? So to how do I kind of look at one data set, another data set, and create resolution amongst them? How do I kind of work on commerce specifically, right? And get generative AI in place to kind of give me recommendations on A+ content, and which with that we are able to kind of really do the testing around it, right? Like what copy works, what copy doesn't work, etc., and all that. So I think it's an area where there's massive opportunity, and we as an organization are fully bullish about it. I mean, we don't want to miss the boat on this, and we want to kind of ensure that we make the most out of this.
Can I go next? So I guess for us as Dentsu, we're very clear that we've invested into AI long back. So for example, if I have to bucket this like you asked, I think there would be one side which would be client-centric and the other side would be internal. So I'll dwell more on the client-centric part because I think whatever we do for our clients. So for example, earlier on, we built an entire propensity analytic model where we took it to one of the largest trading firms and we made efficiencies a great takeout from AI, where we actually got 35% of more leads. So it looks into media. We also do a lot of AI in our creatives, whether it's about content creation, whether it's about video editing, whether it's about anything to do with social. So media creative is something which goes hand in hand, and for us as an agency, and whether it's now into market mix modeling, whether it's into analytics, whether it's into performance media. Dentsu is one of the biggest performance marketing companies here. And what we do is we are actually trying to make sure that AI is invested in across all our campaigns. And we've seen that across categories. It's not that it's limited to certain categories. It could be on auto, it could be on FMCG, it could be on OEMs, it could be on BFSI, and we've got real-time case studies where we've got awards based on that. Coming to the internal part, I think what we've also done this excellently in Dentsu Inside is all the things which are repetitive in nature. For example, reporting, for example, scheduling, for example, all the grunt work which is there. We're trying to see if we can do it through AI. So what it actually happens is the staff or the team can have more strategic conversations with our clients rather than getting into a lot of repetitive things which they keep on doing. So is AI here? Yes, we've already invested in it. We also believe that it's an ecosystem which we're wanting to create. In certain companies, we've actually invested way ahead. And other things, we are partnering with lots of companies because we firmly believe it's an ecosystem and partner is the way forward where we take to our clients. So yeah, I guess.
Hey, hi everyone. I think the panelists so far have covered quite a bit, and I resonate with everything that they've said. I think at Publicis Group, we're looking at it with three simple lenses. One is how we work. The second is the nature of the work that we create for our clients. And the third is how we do our own business, right? So the first case, which is how we work, which is where, it's about how do you incorporate all these tools like, Midjourney, Runway, whatever it might be, into our workflows. And that's an efficiency case where it might increase productivity. We could still create that kind of work before, but it can probably be done 5x faster, 10x faster, right? The other interesting aspect that's emerging over there is today, if you start incorporating these tools and you can design through natural conversation, you can write through natural conversation, then who's a copywriter? Who's a designer? Who's a media planner? Right? It's democratizing the power of that. So does a person necessarily need to have gone to JJ school for 5 years? Or is there someone who's intuitively good at design but wasn't trained on the tools who can do it for you now? So these are some interesting questions that are emerging. So it's also a talent transformation piece for us. You might see a change in talent composition where prompt writer designers become, very, very eminent in our scheme of things. The more exciting part for us is the nature of work that we create for our clients. So if I take an example of Oreo, right? It was a Leo Burnett and Publicis Digital Tech joint case where the See It with Oreo campaign, we did something that wasn't possible even a year and a half back. Where I'm not getting into the details of the campaign, but we got Farhan Akhtar to send personalized voice messages to by now I think almost 2 million people. This was not possible a year and a half back because to execute a campaign like that kind of personalization at scale, A, Farhan Akhtar would have to record his voice over 2 million times, which is not humanly possible. B, you'd need a writer's room of thousands of people who knew how to write like him. And that was solved for by GPT models and by Resemble AI in that particular case. So that's transformational work because you're able to do things that you simply could not before, and that becomes a growth case. And the third one that we've taken at the group is saying, while this is all focused on the client work that we do, what about our business? If talent is a big problem for advertising, in our industry, can AI help us find better talent, screen better talent, And so we actually went through an entire hackathon internally as a group to say, how do we transform our own business and as well, and not just our client's business, and building out some exciting products from that.
Hello, hi. And thanks for getting all the top 4 agency guys on the panel because they're going to speak the same thing. And I may just echo some of it in a different manner. And I'll slice this question into 2 parts. Clearly, one is the creative side, and a lot of stuff has been spoken about copy and chat GPTs, building a lot of content. Let me also give you a bit of a nuance as to what are the ups and how does it really help us, even at Madison. And then there's media, where we see it more from the lens of top of the funnel, middle, and the bottom of the funnel. And how is really AI engaging at every intervention when it comes to any brand campaigns. So one is, like most of my friends have already spoken about, the copy part and the creative part and the mid-journey and the daily, and I'm not going to get there now more. All I'm trying to say is that AI is as powerful or as good as the kind of data it reads. A good data will give you good data, good AI output, and a bad data is going to give you a bad output of AI. But having said that, end of the day, there's a lot of learning curve because it also needs to be really trained well. How does it still interfere in our lives is more from media lens. We use it for performance at the bottom of the funnel. You got some of the fantastic tools that some of the giants have reproduced. Google, Max, or Meta's coming out with their Robin. Some of the fantastic libraries of MLs that they've created. I think they're very, very useful when it comes to really doing a regressive media-led campaign, a bottom of the funnel sales campaign. You've got a lot of engagement or led stuff, like he spoke about, say it with Oreo, that's like personalization at scale, hyper localization in language, with a huge amount of scale. So there are a lot of tools that we use over there. And again, on top of the funnel, and I'm more seeing it more from a traditional come digital lens, we largely also use it for a media mix modeling. And of course, we've taken a lot more inputs. We use Google Vertex. We've created our own systems of AI. And what we've really figured out is, I think it's more about making sure that what really, how does our business outcome, can a needle, which is a predictive analysis that a AI does, can be robust and done well, as long as you make sure that the data is not hallucinating, as long as you make sure that uh, your your personalization or whatever is the content that really goes in is in the correct format. And these are some of the ways that we at Madison are trying to use most of the AI technologies.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah. I'll take this question from a slightly different tangent because I come from the technology side of business, right? So, as very rightly put by Ajay sir and as well as by Vinod, where uh, we are trying to create the platform WebEngage, where we are trying to automate and enable marketers today from a multifacet of aspects, right? So right from segmentation onwards till automating the campaign side of things or the customer journey creation bit, and then obviously personalization and then analytics, right? So all of this, all of these key aspects of defining a customer or a marketing automation for a company uh, is enabled through a lot of AI aspects, right? So what we're able to do is, for example, the data that we're collecting on our CDP, we are able to, with the help of AI, do better segmentation and resegmentation, right? We're able to offer the capabilities to our friends on the stage here, to be able to advise the customer on what should be the next best, channel for communication to the end customer, or which particular segment of customer should they target first. So there are a lot of, ways in which AI and machine learning and automation has empowered, both marketers as well as end customers when it comes to being able to use technology in the way they want to see it fit to themselves. So, and the best part is that it's such an open ecosystem today that you are able to integrate with multiple technologies if you are unable to provide all of it, right? Nobody provides end to end, right? So the technology today is so open to integrate that the beauty of it lies when the result is achieved by what the customer demands. So that's with that aspect, I would like to say that AI and machine learning has really aided in terms of enhancing the offerings that a marketing automation tool can offer.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And we were just sitting inside over there, and what everyone was telling me that, all the people from the agencies will be echoing the same sentiments on this. But if I were to summarize this, right, like from the four agencies that we have on panel, we spoke about four very different perspectives on how AI impact their work, right? And I'll just quickly summarize, like based on the notes that I took. That Atik talked about, essentially the creation process, the creative process that AI is involved in, the delivery process of targeting, and the science which connects the two, right? Vinod talked about the two facets around, using AI for external campaign purposes as well as for internal purposes internally to increase the efficiency of their own tooling. Resh talked about the process and tooling with it around, Midjourney and DALI, and how all the AI creative tools are essentially enhancing their workflows. And Vishal talked about the funnel segmentation, right? Like how AI can be used from top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel. And most importantly, Ajay sir talked about the business impact that AI can have for a consumer brand, right? For a country like India, especially with over 1.5 billion population, there's just no way to scale service delivery to that level of population. And using AI, you can sort of give very highly personalized information targeting capabilities where you can give individual attention to each customer and have them provide the capability to take the decision as if a person was advising them individually. But going back to the discussion that we had, I had like one specific question for each one of you. And I'll start by asking Amresh, you mentioned about the tooling that is needed to enable AI. Like,
Can I just interject a little bit? So I heard the conversation, and I'm the least knowledgeable, like I admitted in the very beginning. I, to an extent, disagree with where we are taking this conversation, right? Why I'm saying so? Because if instead of me, and I'm just a proxy of this, if my CEO were to be sitting here, if my CFO were to be sitting here, we'd have a roll of eyes, right? Because what are we talking about? I think we are largely, and somebody said AI is as powerful as the data that it uses. I don't think so. I think AI is as powerful as the problem it solves. Okay? We are looking at these problems of our existing problems and we are just adding efficiency to it. I think more than the technology, more than the razzmatazz, more than the I think multiple faces of the same celebrities mouthing my name versus anybody else's name. Those are not actually real business problems or consumer problems that we solve. Let's step back. We create value when we solve real issues for consumers. Okay? If we are not able to define new problems which here though haven't been solved by us, either because we did not have the capability or we did not have the means to doing so, and we don't find new problems to solve, I don't think we are creating value. All that we are talking is mere efficiency, which, yeah, efficiency is not the, if you're defined for an average company, let's take we spend less than 1% of our top line on advertising or marketing. The biggest FMCG companies, which are quote unquote supposed gods of marketing, spend 10 to 15% of their top line on this. A 10% efficiency on that spend gives you what? Versus if you solved a problem for the consumer, you are unlocking a significant amount of value into an economy, which is the discussion we should be having, right? We are merely talking efficiency games. So my sense is I think we need to challenge ourselves a little more onto what are the here though problems that we've not been able to address. And I strongly resist this portion of that all that marketers do is communication. We don't. I think we create value by putting solutions and understanding the consumer issues and trying to put solutions together. Communication is just a tiny fraction of it, right? And if we are able to do that, I think we are unlocking value. Otherwise, we'd have a Japanese sharp knife which is so premium and all that we are using it to cut carrots. I don't think we are doing justice. Yeah, sorry.
not at all. Atik, do you want to respond to that?
I mean, absolutely right, right? I mean, there's no denying in that, right? I mean, there is obviously, it's like a value chain, right? And AI cuts across the value chain, right? I mean, I'm with when he says that, okay, AI should solve business problems, right? So for example, what Mercedes is doing is installing AI into their into their product, right? I mean, that's a different conversation where it's actually solving for a problem. It's making the car more personalized to it. When it comes to marketing, we are solving a specific problem. But I think what the message that I take is, okay, we should never leave the insight or the foresight of what the brand wants to do for its consumers and see and unlock more value of AI and not just mere look at like, temporal data or some of the metrics. But yes, they are also a part to one of those efficiencies, okay, that's there. At the same time, you cannot lose the oversight as to what AI can actually deliver.
I think, question for you when you mentioned like internal versus, when you talk about external applications of AI, like what do you think are the biggest business problems that it can be applied to from your lens?
See, I think when we're talking about external, I guess, borrowing it from what Ajay just said, I guess the clients have very strict KPIs and outcomes which they send it to us, right, as agencies. And we, at the end of the day, go back and we sit with our team and we try and see how best can we perform and overperform. So, like I said, we did a kind of a propensity analytical modeling for one of the online trading companies where we went back, we made the entire system based on AI. And when we ran it for around 2 or 3 months, we actually came back and said that, okay, you had given me a target of, let's say, 100, we have given you around 350. So that's something which we've delivered, we've seen, and that's a business problem which the client called out for, we've delivered it for media. Did we do it immediately? Did it perform? This thing performed. But there could be test runs, right? Not everything is right. Not every time everything will be, 3x, 4x, and things like that. We did the same thing, especially when it came to non-media, when we're talking about creative. And I said that earlier, that today AI is used for a lot of other things when it comes to creative, when it comes to social, when it comes to video editing, when it comes to graphic designing, so on and so forth. So whether it's generative AI we're talking about, or whether it's machine learning we're talking about, and we've done this, we've invested this, and specifically when it talks about low funnel or performance-based marketing, we've seen this used for across our channels, across our categories, and we've seen great results being happening. But what I would also like to say is you use AI, but there is always a human intervention doing that. A person who's now today capable and understands using AI the right way is the person who will be the talent for future for every organization. So you need to invest in people, you need to do the kind of trainings, you need to work with innovative and new partners because technology is evolving. Digital transformation has happened, technology is evolving, and that's where you need to work across the board, be neutral as an agency and welcome every single partner, work with them and take it to clients to scale this up.
Awesome. That's an excellent segue into what I was going, and this leads into exactly what Amresh was talking about, the process and tooling aspect of it. So Amresh, like for a marketeer who is starting their careers today, like what do you think is the best way for that person to learn what all AI can offer to him, and how do you screen whether this person has the talent or not?
Sure. So I think, brass tacks, obviously, it's important to educate yourself on what is machine learning, what is AI, what is generative AI, etc. Because without that, you won't understand the concepts. But I think if we start with the objectives that go across the funnel, big believer that those don't change. We've had cases in the past when every shiny new thing that came in, right, whether it was social media, mobile marketing at one point of time, people started coming up with in-platform metrics. And as it scales and becomes a mature part of your overall marketing mix, you realize that you want to compare apples to apples. So I think one thing we should, completely stay away from a marketing standpoint is trying to come up with, platform-specific or AI-specific metrics. So if you're a marketer and you're looking at your goals across the top funnel, mid funnel, and bottom funnel, the question to ask is how can AI transform each leg of that funnel, right? How can I, like Sir was saying earlier, you can ask yourself, can I solve new problems that I couldn't solve before as a marketer? That's a big opportunity. So can I use the power of generative AI to do my, mainline advertising differently, but still in the service of my business and marketing goals? Similarly, bottom funnel, similarly, CRM or whatever it might be, where you might use the power of generative AI to improve your customer service offering. Those are the kind of opportunities marketers have, but tying back always to business and, business and marketing objectives.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amresh. I'll have one last question for you, Vishal, before we end the session. But as we talk about, like the demand of marketing agencies change, how do you imagine, the demand of AI services or, AI in marketing change over the next few years or over the next 10 years as well?
Okay, I think today, as I said earlier, and I'm going to repeat that, look, AI needs to still be trained well to really give you the right outputs for the right business outcomes. And it is just a tip of the iceberg what we've touched today. I think there's a lot more. Some zillions and zillions of data needs to be still acquired to make sure that the right outcomes, and it just keeps getting refined and refined. Will business models of agencies change with this AI coming in? I don't think that's going to happen. But agencies will probably be agile, will adapt more and more technology solutions, will more invest into areas like this, and try to be ahead of curve. I think that's where most of the agencies would probably be looking at.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much to all the panelists for joining us on stage and sharing their valuable insights here.